Alrighty, ladies and gents. Good day, guys. Welcome. Hope we're all doing well. Welcome to another edition of the London session. Big one we got here today as well, guys. So, without further ado, let's get this show on the road. And as always, guys, good morning, good afternoon, and very good evening, no matter where you are around the world. On a big day news-wise here today. We've got a massive day ahead of us. Obviously, on a few fronts, we've got tariffs being decided upon as we speak. Across the board, there's been a few delays apparently with some of the major partners. I think China is one of those. But it seems to be a blanket tariff of around the 15% is the median tariff. Some have been slugged with a lot more than that, some others with less. So anyway, that will continue to unfold throughout the day. More into the MY session, I suppose. That's something to be more wary of. But also we do have NFP day, so a massive day in with the news. NFP to come later today, so that will obviously really shape things moving forward. Might give us some new ranges moving forward into next week as well, so we'll see what happens on the release of the figures there. Expected to be less than previous. From what I've been hearing, that could be very underestimated. From just what I've been hearing and listening to, the certain economists and things I listen to suggest that number could be way off. And to be honest, generally it is. They do tend to reassess it and change it, adjust the figures not long after the release. So bit of an interesting one that will be to keep an eye on. Obviously unemployment rate as well, so a lot moving forward to consider. But guys, what we're here for is to have a look at the charts. Not really anticipating much today, to be honest. Wasn't even going to stream personally. It has to be an absolute rip snorter of an entry that would tick the boxes in every single way for me to consider a trade here today. It was what has been a good week, a slow but a very good week. No losses, just a couple wins, and so I'm not going to blow it all back off NFP and tariff day. So let's see, guys. Anyway, without further ado, guys, you know the drill. YouTube, if you could, make sure to smash that like button for me. TikTok, don't forget to hit that screen. Let's get the masses onto the stream. And if you guys do have any questions or any charts or anything you'd like me to look over, as always, feel free to pop those into the chat, both YouTube and TikTok, and I will get to you guys shortly. But without further ado, let's have a look at the gold. Starting with the gold, guys, and looking at the weekly time frame, still forming obviously a very strong bearish candle. So off the back of that, normally when I come to a chart on a Friday and I see a candle forming such the way gold is here today, or at the end of this week so far, the last final day of the trading week, and we're forming very strong bearish, I'd rather just trade in line with the strength of the weekly candle. So what that usually will entail is me either looking for a pullback within this actual weekly candle itself to a previous level of resistance form and see if that holds for potential sell options, or B, continuation sells below low. So at this rate, it looks more likely for pullback sells. And one more option, C is if we break a support formed within the lower wick on the pullback to where we are currently now. If we begin to break one of those levels of support, that becomes the third potential option to the downside. Onto the daily time frame here, and we have closed back a bullish candle, albeit very weak bullish. So what is it? Just a pause for us to maybe perhaps continue bearish. Still in this big range here on the daily. Nothing much has changed. We're just at the support. No real volume within the current daily candle. Makes sense with so much news to be released, with the tariffs and NFP later on. Might be a little bit stagnant for the time being, but anyway, we'll see if London session does wake it up a little bit, but not a great deal of volume at the minute. If we were to begin to break previous daily candles low, we'd make a deep pullback. However, we are at some very strong support here on the daily, so just in a range here in the higher time frame. On the 4 hour, we are still trending bearish here on the 4 hour, trading some lower highs, lower lows. That won't change at this rate until we really pop above the swing point here at 33.3 basically. So we're far off that point, but what we have done is form resistance below that point there, and that could be one of the levels where price, if it was to pull back to, I would look for a potential sell in line with the strength of the weekly count. So we're just going to mark that level in. We're also going to mark in most recent, which is the daily low. That is further support where we perhaps could look for potential sells below in order to take it back down towards the low of the week. So we're just going to mark in that level as well, and we'll make our way down to the 15-minute and minor time frame here. Alrighty guys, so what we can see is really just, hold on, let's go back to the 4 hour for one moment. Alright, so there's not much of a zone. Well, there really isn't a zone. That candle, oh, it's got a little low wick, so we can just adjust to that point there. I'm going to add in another resistance right here. That will be a minor level, but we have tapped into it multiple times only to reject. All right, so off the back of that, my preferences would be moving forward. Anything in between, if we were just to dump at the minute, feel like you're a bit late to the party. You're in the middle to third of the actual current range, and you're running straight into more support. Below this support, you got a little bit more margin, but you're selling it into the bottom third of the 4 hour range. And to be honest, I would much rather just wait for it to pop below the support formed just above the current daily candles low. So if price is to pop below that point there, once again, this is my preference moving forward today. Because of all the news and everything about, I'd rather be really strict with it and wait for it to get into really clean territory, which at this rate is not until 22.8350 roughly. Aside from that, what I would be looking for is, once again, price to pull back, retest this zone that I've just marked in on the minor time frame here, and look for signs of rejection for a possibility to take a sell back down towards the daily low. So if we were to sweep the highs of the day, the Asian session looks like we've already done so, and look at that, off the back of that, we've rejected, come back within inside the range, and that type of scenario would play out 9 times out of 10, where price will sweep the Asian session high, only for it to reject and pop back into the range it's come from. What often is followed is price tends to revert back towards the support from where it had come from. So that's exactly what it's doing right now. Well done if anyone took advantage of that particular option. And that is pretty much my opinion of the gold. I mean, buys above this resistance wouldn't look bad, but my bias is to look for sells today. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. Do make sure to smash that like button. TikTok also, don't forget to hit that screen for me. And what else can we look at? Let's have a look at GJ as our next pair to analyze. Starting at the weekly time frame here, and we are forming a weak bullish candle. We do have a lower high, lower low to the previous, so no real counter probabilities on the actual weekly time frame. But what we are doing is hovering above some previous resistance here to the left hand side, so we probably flip the structure in the minor time frame here as well. Daily close the liquidity candle, broke low of the previous, only to close back above it. So strong bullish off that particular candle itself. Current daily, not a lot going on. We are right at a resistance here to the left. Let's just mark in the current daily high, and we'll see what we got above that point. And we'll also mark in the current daily low and see what we got below that point. All right, so on to the 4 hour, and the structure here, I would argue, has flipped back bullish. Just, yes, it has. So the 4 hours flipped back bullish, but counter probabilities are to the downside, and we are back below the resistance here. So likely there could be options to sell below the current daily candles low. We have obviously formed support at that point. Gonna mark in the resistance, and we'll include the high of the day, the point, sorry, just above it. And a little bit prematurely, but we're gonna mark that zone in for the time being. We'll change it to blue, seeing it's not yet confirmed on the 4 hour time frame. All right, so we're just gonna adjust it to that point there on the M30. I should be on for the currency pair. All right, so looking at GJ. Bars resistance, I think that has to be pretty much the spot, guys. So what I'd be looking for, the 30 minutes bullish, not sure if anyone is currently running buys. Well done if you are. What I'd be looking for is price to pop back down, retest the low, and look for either price to bounce off it for a potential buy, or rejection, closure below, and look for potential sell. Seeing once again form support. Well, at the low, we've just recently formed support low. If we would wipe those buyers out, only to pop below, not flipping necessarily any structure, but rejecting the high time frame resistance, closing below the support at the daily low would make sense for me to look for some potential sell options off the back of that. Aside from that, the bias in my opinion is bullish, so I would be hesitant to sell it. Just following my rules on a Friday. Otherwise, sell some resistance probably wouldn't be that bad of an option. That is my personal opinion of a GJ. Make of that what you will. Quickly look at German 40. Bit of a pullback on the indices by the looks of things. All right, so German 40, and let's have a look at the weekly. Very strong bearish engulfing. So once again, I'd only be interested in selling it for me today. Daily lower high, lower low, still got potential to continue bearish. So just marking a daily low, and let's make our way to the 4 hour here. It is also bearish in structure, or actually no, shortly it could be in 2 hours. We may finally have the confirmation of a structure flip on the 4 hour. As far as support, are we honing in on some support? We've got a gap to the downside here as well, which hasn't appeared to be filled as of yet. Doesn't necessarily have to, but there's a good chance it will. Now onto the 15-minute, and pretty strong resistance all up around this level here. The level where structure would flip back bullish. You know what? I'd almost argue it is bullish. It doesn't look it, but anyway. I prefer to sell, guys. And what I'd be looking for is the pullback. So pullback towards either resistance here at level A, 23,950, rejection for a sell, or higher up around that 2400 to 24,000, sorry, 2425, 2450, that sort of region. Aside from that, maybe continuation sells, yeah, possibly below. You're going to likely fill that gap. So continuation sells below the lows of this 4 hour support. And that is my quick opinion of German 40. And now I will get to you guys in the chat on this special Friday edition of the London session. Normally I do stream, but I thought today, I thought I wasn't going to bother. But I'm here, guys, so welcome. TikTok, thank you to the 71 of you currently on stream, and to the 7 new followers. Don't forget to follow if you have not already done so. YouTube, how are we, team? Tony Gold, g'day to you. Dismix key, caught sells at the top of the range, got tapped out, break even man, and then it dropped 40 pips afterwards. Going to use 10 wooden first style to punish gold. All good, man, all good, it happens. Bartman, g'day to you, appreciate it. Sebastian, g'day. Tony Gold, yep, again. Lau, good morning to you. Tony, new session, yep. Kaku Daniel, good morning to you. NFP, big day, yep, new month, new numbers, and that's another thing, new month as well. Carl, happy Friday to you. Tommy, morning to you, mate, or afternoon to you. You're in more EU sales, nice one. Paul, good day to you. TikTok, how are we? Any questions, feel free to send those in. Arafin, good morning to you, brother, hope you're well. Welcome, welcome. The usual question, most in, buy or sell. Looking for sells, if anything, today, but no hurry whatsoever. There's nothing at all at the minute. Green God 10, pretty choppy in my opinion. I agree, 100%, I agree. So that's why I'm patiently going to wait. And look, the likelihood of me getting my entry here today is maybe a 5% chance, in all honesty, because we're nowhere near the levels that I want to be involved in a trade. And it's just my preference. It's a Friday, no need to force anything. It's been a good week. I'm not going to blow it on a stupid trade on a Friday. So yeah, I agree. It's a little bit choppy. Arafin, all good, man, all good. How about yourself? My market open was really nice yesterday. Nice one, man. Happy to hear it. Aiden, how old do you have to be to start? We should be 18. But if no one knows any different, you're gonna have to KYC. So borrow someone's ID, your older brother or your parents or something, if that's what you want to do. But yeah, 18. Yeah, Wayne. Yep. Kim, do you avoid trading around news? I do. I mean, normally, if the news is this far, which it is, it's still quite a distance away. Still got, 6 hours or so. It wouldn't worry me. But it's a big. This is the biggest of them all, basically, NFP. Coupled with a few other things. Coupled with tariff news, which would release at any moment. I think a lot of the tariffs have already been decided upon, but probably not quite all. Also, that will be filtering through a bit more as the market's open. Plus, along with that, you got the first day of the new month, which could be a little bit, choppy as well to begin. So let's have a look at gold. How did we close the monthly? All right, so we closed back bearish in the end. Yesterday, this time, we were pretty much at the monthly open. That's a weak bearish candle, the first bearish candle here on the monthly, quite some time all year. So is gold ready to perhaps make a little bit of a pullback? And we are definitely in a level or a period of exhaustion here, the current level on gold. So again, like I always mentioned, all this range and this consolidation basically on a 4-hour daily, also daily I suppose is more evident, and the weekly, is liquidity being built up in the market. So the market can't always trend in a straight line. There are going to be pockets where price will just constrict and have no clear direction. What that is liquidity being built up for price to either make a clean move back down, the pullback, or B, in line with the structure and continue bullish. Gold, however, I'm not flipping bearish whatsoever. I'm still a permanent bull on gold. I still think gold is a must in anyone's portfolio moving forward. However, it would not surprise me if we actually do make a decent pullback off the back of this consolidation. Again, not going to predict it. All I do is I will react if and when the time comes. So whether it be a continuation to the upside or a deeper pullback, I'm just going to look for my opportunities to get involved in trades. Long term wise, I would love a deeper pullback. I would absolutely love it if gold dumps, because I would just buy physical, not paper. I'm talking about the physical stuff. Same with silver. I'm wanting it. It is dropping, which I'm happy to see, because I would still love to increase my stack. So I'm really happy to see silver has been probably down about under 10% for I think the last few weeks. Let me just quickly measure this from the high. Just under 10%, so just under 8.5%. So it's a pretty significant drop. And to be honest, I would love for it to drop further, because I have conviction in physical silver and gold. I do believe it's a great way forward. So I would be more than happy, as I mentioned, if they did make a deep pullback. It's more opportunity to get involved. Bitcoin has made a pullback as well. The cryptos are pulling back a bit, maybe just exhausting it as well, gathering some steam, grabbing some more liquidity in order to push up, or are we going to dump back further? Again, my opinion of Bitcoin is we're still quite bullish, really, as long as we remain above that 105 flat on the daily. But it would not surprise me if we actually come back down towards that 108 region prior to maybe once again attacking and breaking the all-time high. What time's London session open, Max? In 15 seconds. What about NQ, Eddie? So there's no entry for me here. No upper wick as well, so nothing there. Also in a bit of a pull back phase here by the looks of things. Let's have a look at it on the weekly. And all right, so what we can see is looks like we're gonna have a bearish closure here on the weekly. Nothing to suggest that we're ready for a big downtrend. Again, markets can't always trend bullish forever. The daily, we got a lower high, lower low, a little bit of margin down to the support, so potentially could pull back towards that 2320 sort of region, 23,200. Onto the 4 hour has actually flipped the structure, so see, I'm not going to bother marking that. Do see some potential for sells. Be marking that in as the resistance, and once again the weekly is forming quite a strong bearish candle. Be marking that in as support. We've got support here. See what it looks like in a 15. All right, looks very similar to gold actually. So for me on NQ today, what I'd be looking for is pullbacks to sell it from higher up, 23,320 roughly. Look for rejection, sell, or look for, yep, closure below the support form just above the daily low. At that point, you're likely going to break the low, and that is what I'd also be looking for. Vibes Vortex, how do you separate skill from luck in your trading results? Skill from luck? Well, if you're following your plan and it's a pattern within price action that you're familiar with and that ticks the boxes in accordance to all your rules and everything, then that's more a skill. DE40, when since we don't have an alarm on that, must be from ages ago. If it's just a effort trade where you just want to be in a position because you're bored or whatever and you just feel like you're missing out from a trade, and that's luck if it wins. But again, if you're following your plan and your analysis and you execute upon it, it's not luck, that's a skill. G, would I buy for long term on gold? 100% I would. I'd just stack. That's what I'd be doing. I'd be layering in just small, you know, even a gram or whatever. I just dollar cost average. That's what I'd be doing. Vibes Vortex, all good. To my team, I'll send you guys a link. So it's been a good week, guys. Let me know how your week's been. Are you in a profit? How many trades have you taken? Win-loss ratio, that type of thing. Feel free to send that into the chat. For me, 3 trades, 2 wins and 1 break even. So a pretty quiet one, but the market's been quite choppy when I've been on the charts, but still well in profit. So that's the main thing. Main thing is if you follow your rules and you have a game plan that works for you. Even if you have a negative week, I had one a couple of weeks back, just a really small one, minus 0.5%, just over that. But in the long term, it's just, you'll cover it easy. I mean, the month still ended a positive last month. And we'll see how this month goes. Usually my results, August, are always a pretty good month for me. It's always a pretty good month. Back to Matrix, looking for a buy. No. Eddie, what do you think about NASDAQ? I had a look at NQ, so whatever I said on NQ is pretty much the same thing. Yeah, only interested in selling it today. Either below low or on a pullback. Quakers trading, wait for open E. Arafin, what time's news? Let's quickly have a look at it again. I think it's 10:30 my time, so that's, yeah, so that's 30 minutes into NY open. Arafin, 10 trades, can't remember how many you lost, but profits in a week. Well, that's all right. Do you use Recam funded? No, personal. Arafin Gold barely has no volume anymore. Yeah, it's a bit choppy at the minute, but again, a lot of news to come, so. Curious shorts, that's the same as every pair, lol. It's either going up or down. Very true. Back or sideways. No name, good day to you, mate. Hope you're all, brother. Welcome. Just my escape, prison cell background. Guys don't know the full story, do you? Nah, I'm just kidding. G, after a rough start at the beginning of the week, I ended up with the profit now. Nice one. More importantly though, guys, were you following your rules? That's the main thing. Because if, let's just say you had a bad start and you weren't feeling great about it and you were revenge trading, jumping back in, and you got yourself back in a profit that way, then not as impressive, to be honest. If you're following your rules and all and trading your plan, then fantastic. Vibes Vortex, what's your rule for cutting a range trade that hasn't moved in your favor but also hasn't broken your invalidation? Well, it just depends, because even when I'm in trading within a range, I still want it to have clean margin to my target. So for instance, I had a member send in a chart earlier today who tried to take a trade here, and I just couldn't quite see it, to be honest, because to me it was range straight to that support. Price action was not decisive prior to it. There's no clear signal. So unless, for instance, this is straight bullish, then I would pretty much not bother. If there is no margin, let's just say we had a little pause, for instance, maybe there, and then we had followed by a bullish candle, then I may have the margin to sell it from, you know, from here or something back down to this support. So I always make sure I have enough margin to secure some sort of profit. And if I don't have it, then I just wouldn't take the trade personally. So what I determine to be enough margin is, generally speaking, minimum, absolute bare minimum is 20 pips, but I really would want more than that. I would, to be honest, want 30, 40, 50 plus. And if I do have a clear signal to take the actual trade itself, and if it's not going in my direction, then I'm a little bit more strict with it when it's within a range, because the range holds priority and it's not trending. So it could just continue to consolidate, or could, you know, all of a sudden pull back in the opposite direction. So I would just follow my rules in accordance to my plan when it comes to trade management. And for instance, if I was in a sell just now, and my stop loss was, let's say, above the swing or above this bearish candle's high, if this flipped, I would just cut probably at least half, if not the whole thing, because it has a lower high, lower low. If my plan provided me an entry signal on the break of that bullish candle's low, I would be looking at thinking that there is no need for us to pop back up and break our own high again, let alone the previous candle's high. If we did so, I would not want to be in the trade anymore. I would cut that position. So things like that, it's all documented in my course, which is available for my team, my members. Trade management section is, apart from the entry section, because there's multiple different entries, trade management section makes up probably the main portion of the actual course itself. Just when XK, maybe he was using the Mantis pattern strategy, that's why I took it, maybe in range. Now look, I understood why I took it, more so based off the hourly. But still, for me, it hadn't done enough. No clear direction whatsoever, so. But we live and learn. Still plenty of time to go, but possible interruption play in the M30, no name. M30 on gold. Yeah, I'm avoiding this range, completely avoiding it. Unless it comes back up to the resistance. I'm not sure why someone's dropped the phone number in there, but just be careful, guys. Don't fall for it. Fabio, it's bullish or bearish? I'm bearish today on gold. Doesn't mean it can't move bullish, but I'm bearish. More so off the back of the weekly, the strength of the weekly candle. Is obviously forming a very strong bearish candle. Sebastian, thank you, mate. You member of the YouTube channel. Do appreciate it, my friend. Yeah, thank you, brother. think I unlocked some emojis and that for you. I'm not too sure, to be honest. I haven't looked at it for a while, but do plan to upload some more content, and I'll make sure that, you know, yourself and whoever else is a member, I think there's one other, it's the privilege of watching first and that type of thing. Arafin sells, bro. Nothing at the minute. NSLs or buy today, preferring SL, but nothing at the minute. What time range? Time frame, I think you mean 15. Definitely might take in Nasdaq and US30. We've been over Nasdaq or NQ, pretty much the same thing. Yeah, continuation sells look pretty good. However, I wouldn't trade it this time of day. IC sells, interruption sells also look pretty good. Once this candle closes for a limit order sell back at the low of that bullish candle. Stop loss above the swing. That could be one potential entry. US30, I hate looking at it, but I will do it for you. I don't like, got a lot of gaps generally, but very similar to Nasdaq. Pretty much the exact same. Have you cleared support though? Let's just quickly have a look, zoom out. All right, so we got support just a little bit lower down. It's not quite. Yeah, not quite cleared it. I would still probably consider the limit order sell at low of that bullish candle. Otherwise, you're probably looking at pullback sells or continuation sells below 43,868. But otherwise, I'd be very bearish on it. So I'd just be looking for it to pull back to grab liquidity and look for a sell. I'll probably mark in that whole region there and look for any pullback towards that point. Yeah, that's my personal opinion. Don't ever trade it personally. Yamil Lamar. Yeah, how much money you make daily? It all depends, mate. It all depends. It's not every day I take a trade as well, so it just depends. Some days you lose as well. How much do I need to start trading? Whatever you can afford to lose, because the reality is, as a beginner, you're going to make mistakes. You're not going to understand what you're doing. You're going to over risk, over leverage. You'll probably blow an account or two. So whether that be 50, 100, 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, 20,000, it just all depends on your financial circumstances. Just missed the do market going really hard down. Yeah, it's not doing a great deal at the minute though. Jeffrey, all good. Cami, any trade setups here on gold? For me, nothing at the minute. Yamil, all good. Sam, will today be bearish? For me, it's a bearish day. Doesn't mean it has to be bearish. Gold can do whatever it decides to do. And what's your view on EU? EU. Let me say he was doing on EU. I think he said sells. More sells. Ah. I may know why. Let me have a look at 30. Yeah, so for me on EU, I'd be very bearish as well. Just off the back of the weekly. The weekly is forming a very strong bearish candle, so I would not try to buck the weekly candle on a Friday. I would trade in line with that. Daily weak pause candle closure on the previous. If we break it, it's a high probability we could continue bearish. However, excuse me, there is support to the left hand side here on the daily time frame. Hence why we perhaps could be, or perhaps could bounce off this level. So I'd mark in the previous daily high. The 4 hour just consolidating at support, so maybe we are again just grabbing liquidity in order to make a deeper pullback. Still going to be bearish in structure up until 115.750 roughly, or we could continue break through the support and make another move down. So that's the current 4 hour range, a pretty choppy one. M30 is also bearish, and that's not going to flip up until 115.05 roughly. So for me on EU, I'd just look for sales, to be honest, if it moving forward. Below low, not the cleanest. However, there is a little bit of margin to the downside. So I'd probably be looking for either pullback sells. So A, a pullback sell, higher the better, towards the 4-hour resistance, or B, sells upon continuation below low. And that's personally how I would play it on the Friday. No, I see. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was just looking anyway, thinking that the one that you with that one you would have had to beat him from 5 a.m. my time, so sure you would have been in bed for that yourself as well. But that one would have worked. Panda, all good. Andre, what's future are you on? This is not futures, this is spot. XAUUSD spot gold. Sam, how do US tariffs affect gold? They will likely have an impact on gold. In which way? Well, what's the term positive and negative? I'm not too certain, to be honest. I suppose it just depends on maybe how correlated a certain currency is to gold. Yeah, it's a tough one, in all honesty. Not too sure. Not gonna lie. Not too sure, but we need to be wary that it is tariff day, so it could affect the market. I'd be more concerned by NFP, and that is something you guys need to be wary of if you are trading into NY today. Cami, I want to sell, but don't think this is a good entry anymore. It's just a choppy range, mate. A really choppy range. So personally, I'm just going to avoid it. Scorpione, like, you know, felt bearish, bullish today. I'm more bearish personally. Just the short-term picture. But again, in regards to the longer term side of things on gold, I'm extremely bullish. Could not be any more bullish. Have conviction in gold and silver. Extremely bullish on both. Hi, GJ. Had a look at it before. Yeah, so as I mentioned, it's more about this zone that we're at. So buys would be pretty nice from it, and if it begins to pop lower, perhaps sells. Domino, what's the spot price now on gold? 3290.4 right now. You're expecting 33.23 today? All right, well, look, could happen. NFP on the cards as well. Galatoholic. Gold is bullish. The higher time frame picture, yes, but lower time frame trading wise, I believe no. This is just the Asian range indicator. I find it quite useful, to be honest, because a lot of time you guys hear me say, wait and see price sweeps the Asian session high, which usually lines up with a resistance and at support low. And often what you hear me say is, if it breaks, only to pop back in, there's a good chance we're going to continue back down. That's exactly what we did today. We created the high, broke the resistance, only to reject. So this is another indicator just to add confidence to an entry, just to see if we have actually broken a session high and tap back into it or not. But it's not really necessary. Holic, you think it's bearish too? Okay, nice one. Yusuf, you're in sales in 32.96. Nice one, man. Yeah, nice work. Let me know, guys, what are you currently looking at? Any trades running? I'm assuming there's some more of you currently in positions. Quickly looking at EA pushing to the upside here. Not a lot going on otherwise though. At some resistance, looks to be higher time frame resistance as well. Yeah, just consolidating here on a 4-hour. Consolidating though at a previous level of support, so potential level it could bounce from. Structurally, it is bearish though. So on EA here, probably use that whole level. I'd use that as support, the most recent support. Just to that point there. And for me, very strong resistance. I'd prefer the sell options from it. Weekly is forming strong bearish candle as well, so off the back of that I would prefer to sell it, and we're at a pretty good level to start looking for sell opportunities here. So even if this perhaps closed weak bullish, it could be a sell option below the low of that bullish candle. Let's quickly look at the 15. Yeah, would be nice, however though, if the 15 closed below this minor support, and at that point there I feel there's a good chance this price could come back down to the daily low. Yeah, I'd be looking for sells below that point on EA. It's this point's key. Some A.C.T 1 second scalpers crushing the market right now when it's like this. Likely. Who knows, man. But man, I missed the one. Kicked myself for missing drop from 33.30 to 32.80. Yeah, it happens, man. But as you are probably fully aware, if you've missed the move and a move that you planned, then don't FOMO in. Just reassess and wait. Nothing much you can do otherwise. Worst thing you do now is just, out of frustration, try to justify an entry. I'm sure you're fully aware of that either way. Cirx, I made 1K on crypto today. Should I put it all on black? That's totally up to you, mate. You want to go to the casino? I mean, you might want to wait till NFP, and who knows, you might get really lucky, or you could absolutely be torn to shreds. So, up to you, mate. Yusuf, I agree though. 100% I agree with that. Nicholas, UJ. Okay, so UJ, been in a bit of a uptrend by looks of things throughout the week. Very strong bullish candle here on the weekly. So off the back of that, I'd be more inclined to look for buy options moving forward here today. It is at some resistance though, so pretty tricky level. Perhaps to look for continuation buys, so it could be better off looking for pullback buys here. Daily, structure-wise, not that we worry too much about on the daily structure itself, but it's bullish. Candle probability wise also bullish. We do have a high low high high to that previous candle, currently pulling back though. All right, so now onto the 4-hour. That is also bullish. Have we rejected a level of resistance? Yep, pretty much spot on. So I would be marking in the current resistance, the highs. Just actually use a horizontal to see what we've got above it. That's a gray. Yeah, so you're pretty much right at another resistance here to the left. So it's a tricky, very tricky level to look for continuation buys from. So I would preference a pullback buy. Now, where could we potentially pull back to? let's see. Let's just mark in that previous 4-hour resistance and see if we have retested it or not on the minor time frames here. M30, no. Not really. I mean, we did have a closure above a tap in, but no proper pullback retest. So that could be a potential destination. For me, I'd be focused on this level here. Price coming back down to it, 149,870 roughly, and look for a potential price action confirmation, take a bite back up. Or again, lower down for our resistance. It's just my personal preference on a Friday trade with the strength of the weekly, especially if it's a really strong candle like this one, rather than looking for the counter trend sell option. If I was to look for any counter trend sell options, what I would suggest is patiently wait for it to close below that point there, but be very, very careful. Reason being is because often these slow trickles against the actual trend itself end up faking people out. People will look to sell it as soon as they get the closure below, pulls back, and then it starts to trend again and trend with volume. So be very careful trying to sell it. At least minimum wait for it to create a lower low, wait for it to pull back, confirm a tap in, and then potentially look to sell it as it begins to break your confirmation candles low. Nicholas, my pleasure. Noah, I'm a beginner. What app should I use? No experience. Beginner to view charts and different pairs, different asset classes, different tickers, cryptos, currencies, metals, commodities, whatever. Trading View. So I'll type it in the chat for you. It's a free app. I would also take a look at this website, and it's also for free. That will help you with terminology and things like that, and just the basics. And then just watch the stream, you'll learn a lot. No problem, Nicholas. My pleasure. G, nothing slow, maybe waiting till MY opens up. It's famous 1st of August now. Yep. Yeah, there's no rush at all. It's been a solid week, quiet one, but a good week. So no need to, you know, ruin it by forcing a trade. Moonstone transformations, not a problem. Alright, so GJ has broken the lows of the day. We're going to just pull up that indicator. It's popping back up. So off the back of that, there'd be a higher probability of it potentially popping back up towards the Asian session highs. It's not a 30-minute candle. Currency pairs I tend to trade more off the 30. Gold, I'm happy to use the 15 and 5. But nonetheless, it still would be interesting to see how it plays out. I've really not bothered with GJ. I think I traded once last month. Bronze 1, BTC. So again, as I mentioned, still quite bullish in my personal opinion. Yes, it is making a pullback. I would just look for limit order buys. Potentially 108 is the next pullback point or entry point. I would also look at 111. 111, 760, 750. And as long as we remain above 105, I still believe the bull trend is intact on the higher time frame picture here without using indicators or anything like that. Just looking at pure structure. For me, it's still intact so long as we remain above that point. So that being said, I would prefer to look for buy options upon the pullbacks, and that's pretty much how I would play it. I don't personally trade it, nor do I accumulate it. I've only got ETH in my crypto wallet and some shitcoin. It was given a free airdrop of. That's about it, to be honest. But looking at trading wise, I mean, remove that. I would focus on that zone there. So if price was to pull back, reject, I'd look for further sells. However, if it was to eventually pop back up to that point there and close above it, then likely we're going to make a deeper pullback, and that's where I'd probably start considering buy options. To the left, again, we're into some pretty clean traffic by the looks of it, so yeah, maybe continuation sells as well. Paraffin, apple juice, orange juice, water. Good old water, mate. Don't drink any of that crap, to be honest. That's just the truth, mate. Love apples though. Oh, love a good sour apple. Granny Smith's not gonna be popular for that one, but prefer to sour apples, to be honest. Yeah, green sour apples, Granny Smith's. All right, gold dropping. Yeah, I'm just not interested at this level though. All right, JJ, trying to pop up. What we got here on the 5? Not great deal. Let's quickly look at GU. Just consolidating. Pretty narrow range, not much happening throughout the day. I think the majors are all pretty much the same across the board. EU as well. So EU, as I mentioned before, I prefer to pull back sells or sells upon continuation below. Quickly look at German 40, continuing bearish here. And the Asian session is just closed, hasn't it? No, not quite. All right, what's this? Trump signs executive order raising tariffs in Canada from 25 to 35. Wow. Let's have a look at UCAD just quickly. How's that affected dollar CAD? Now we could get our answer as to how tariffs will affect gold perhaps. All right, so weakness in the CAD against the dollar at the back of tariff news. Okay. What other news is there? Doesn't seem to be much else so far in regards to tariff talks. I think Switzerland were slugged with a big, also 35%. Here in Oz, I think it's been delayed again, but so they're continuing with a 10% blanket tariff apparently at the minute. I think along with China, it's still been delayed though, so I suppose that's probably a good thing for the Aussie dollar. Just gotta go to where, bro? When you're talking about the sticker, little emoji. That was from some app. It's a smooth K dropping that top week, very nice price action. Why should it be any different, especially on a Friday, NFP day, tariff day, first day of the month? Gold being gold. Paraffin, chart's not moving at all. Yeah, it's a half time limit. I mean, gold's looking like it wants to break to the downside, but still. Not really convinced in this current area. But, yeah. To be honest, guys, I'm not going to trade today. I wasn't even going to stream. So, on that note, I reckon I'm going to call it, to be honest, to have an early one. What I'm going to do is stick around with my group. If any of the members are in the chat and you want to join, make sure to join through the same link. But yeah, just be wary, guys. It is NFP day, so anything could happen. Not only that, it is tariff day, so anything which could shock will likely impact gold. Also, first day of the month, so it could be a little bit unpredictable as well off the back of that. The previous month was a bit of an indecision candle. I mean, it did close back bearish. Does suggest to me that we could potentially, if we broke the low, can make a deeper pullback, to be honest. But again, it's likely going to create a decent upper wick prior to doing so. So we don't want to get caught out too early into the new month. But yeah, again, just be really careful moving forward here today, guys. If you had a good week, consider calling it and taking the rest of the day off. If you haven't, maybe consider calling it, taking the rest of the day off, and just reflecting on maybe what you didn't do right throughout the week, and come up with a game plan moving forward. Otherwise, guys, again, I'd be focused on the resistance for a sell. I mean, we've got resistance just here. Maybe at that point there as well, if it did pop up. I think there you're now your two options. Seeing it is making a clean move down just now, but it did make a clean pullback. So for instance, if it pretty much taps into your support, makes a clean pullback to that point, only to reject again, and I'd perhaps consider some sells from within this range. But otherwise, my plan, if I was to trade, was to wait for it to close below this point. If we are to continue bearish just now, look for sell options. That is my opinion of the gold, guys, moving forward. Once again, do appreciate all the support throughout the week. We'll be back Monday, same time as always, about an hour and 10 prior to London Open. Brian, because I'm not going to force it, price isn't at level I want to be involved in a trade. It's a difficult day with the news, with tariffs, with NFP, and the first day of the month. So personally, I'm just going to relax, not worry about it, and be happy with the profits taken for this week. So guys, take care, have a good one. I will see you next week. Until then, if you want to know more, feel free to contact me. Otherwise, see you guys, catch you Monday. Have a good one. Bye.